So anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, there was a scene where she told Byakuya, "I'm sorry, I couldn't keep our promise. I won't let her escape." At the time, I was stupid. I didn't know what she was talking about. But it turns out that she was talking about her alternate personality, Genocide Jill. And then in the trial, oh wait, yeah, and then in the trial, Genocide Jill steals the show. She is so freaking hilarious, so hilarious because it turns out that's actually not has nothing to do with Toko. Ignore that. But basically, Genocide Jill is hilarious. That's basically what I'm trying to say, but I'm overcomplicating it. And then later throughout the game, her obsession with Byakuya, she keeps calling him master, and then she creams at like the sight of him, and it's hilarious. And like when Byakuya is like, "I didn't tell you to speak," she's like, "I'm so sorry, Mama Master." And like, "I'll do anything Mama Master says." And that's just hilarious. I love it. So yeah, Toko is awesome. Totally, totally radical. Kirigiri, alright. This might piss some people off, but low tier of men. Dude, I can't even tell you how many tier lists I watch on YouTube ranking Danganronpa characters. There was one that I watched that was like an hour long and it was very good. Until they got to number one and it was Kirigiri. I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. I'm gonna go over this. In the beginning of in the first trial, or in like the big prologue and the first trial, what does she do? Absolutely nothing. Except tell Makoto that he needs to figure out the mystery for himself. Other than that, she's just in the background, in mystery. Not to mention, she's an asshole to everyone. But not in the way that Byakuya is, where he's doing it like because he's just a cocky douchebag. She's doing it just because. Like, just because. For no reason. She doesn't trust nobody. She doesn't disclose any information or anything. Byakuya, at least he tells you, "I'm better than you. Deal with it." She just doesn't do that. She's just there, and it annoys me. And then in the third trial, no, not the third trial, the fourth trial, she gets mad at Makoto. There's this part where she tells Makoto a secret. I forgot what the secret was, but then Makoto finds out that Sakura is the traitor before anyone else does. But because he's a good person, he doesn't want to expose that information until he's absolutely sure. But but Kirigiri takes this all kinds of personal and holds a grudge for like the rest of that chapter and then half of the next chapter. She calls him out, was like, "You really think that we're all friends, yet you can't do this?" And she just comes for him. And it's horrible. I just don't like it. I just don't find her likable at all. I think the reason everyone else likes her so much is because of her relation to the headmaster and the mastermind and stuff. But other than that, she doesn't do anything. She's only somewhat decent at the end. Everything else about her is just not good. She's just yeah, that's the best thing I can say. Alright, next we got Mondo. This might be another hot take. Um, Mondo's got to go in awesome tier, dude. Mondo, he should have lived longer. So, with Mondo, in the beginning, it was always said, he always talks about promise as a man. Little did I know how vital that would be to the game. So basically, his stuff starts to kick off in the beginning of chapter 2, where he has a rivalry with Taka. It's basically a dick measuring contest. And they sit in the sauna for like, I don't know, God knows how long. And Makoto has to be like the moderator or whatever. And then the next morning, they're all bros and stuff like that. And then later on, they get their motives to kill, which is their embarrassing secret. And it turns out that his embarrassing secret is that he killed his own brother, and he didn't want anyone to know that. So later on, Chihiro um, wants to get stronger because of her secret that we'll get to later. Wants to get stronger, and I'll call her a she out of respect for what she wanted. She wanted to tell Mondo so she could get the help that she wanted, but Mondo took this as in she was like disrespecting him because of his past, and then he let this get the better of him. killed her. Now, the reason I put him at awesome tier is because he, out of all the killers in the series, he actually, had remorse about it. He only did out of like a random spike of, not a random, but out of a spike of anger, and he instantly regretted it. And the thing is that although he killed her, he still kept his promise as a man to never disclose that secret. So he covered up killing her in the boys' room and moved her into the girls' room, even though this basically would expose him. And I find that hella respectable, which is why he goes in awesome tier. Because he's got the backstory, character development, and a cool motive too. And good aftermath too. Because the aftermath, that was what got me. So yeah, Mondo, awesome tier. Alright, okay, before we get to her, the mage, I have a friend named Okami who worships her. And I hope he sees this because I'm finna piss him off. Finna piss him off. So initially, I would have put her in actual cancer. Initially. But now, she goes in the bottom of med tier. She's actually, in the beginning, she was absolutely worthless. Nothing about her was good. But towards the after Tenko's death, she got better. I have to admit. So initially, she's like one of those weird kids you see at school doing like like magic and shit and Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. You know. So this basically is the peak of me is like near chapter two when what's his name died. I forgot. I don't remember his name. I really don't. But this guy dies during her magic show, and during that trial, the whole time, and it was painful to watch. Like, actually, actually made me cringe. Like, no joke, actually made me cringe. She kept sore up and down that she didn't use a trick, she used magic. And my goodness, I wanted to shoot myself in the brain because it was that painful. It was magic. No, because it was magic. Yeah, magic. Oh my goodness, it made me cringe, dude. So then, when it's eventually exposed that she used a trick and some tomfoolery to get out of it, she still said the tomfoolery I pulled was magic. Made me want to die. It was terrible. But what redeemed her is after. Oh no, it was when we were pressing her in the third trial of murdering Tenko, is when she started to get better because she was actually like. I actually felt kind of bad for her, but don't tell Akami. I actually felt kind of bad for her because we were pressing her as the killer, and she really was it, and you could see it in her eyes that like she was hurt and in pain, and like I felt that. And then after the trial had ended, she started crying like a little child because her friend died, her only real friend died, and I felt that. Like I felt that. I didn't admit it at first, but looking back, I felt that. So that kind of redeemed her from being in actual cancer tier. So yeah. All right. Next, here's another actual cancer. We have Angie. Oh my God, was she horrible? I don't know if like that was the intention or I played like right into the writer's trap of her being unlikable. But Jesus Christ, she sucks. So her god or whatever, I don't know what the heck it is Atua, right? It was Atua this. Oh, she's the ultimate artist, by the way. Atua this, Atua that, and it was horrible. But this all got terrible when the student council came came about. Every time she hugged someone, they got warped, like brainwashed into following her, and it was terrible. It was horrible. I didn't like it at all. They all blindly followed her. I don't know if that was the point, but I just wasn't a fan. I was so happy when she died because she was the thing that got me is she was always smiling as she set these stupid rules that everyone had to follow, and I was like, dude, I hope she dies. And thank goodness she did. But she's an actual cancer. Don't like her. She's the second worst character in the game. That's yeah, she sucks. Oh man, there's still a lot to go. All right, we're gonna speed run some ones that I don't really care for. Um, Hifumi bad. He's just a weeb. He's just a weeb. Um, you didn't really do anything. You just wanted to die, so you going bad. And you were kind of worthless. Teru, yeah, you gotta go on actual cancer tier, dude. You're just a perv. Just a perv. The only thing is that your mom, but that's the most cliche backstory you can get. Actual, your actual cancer. Sayaka, I actually like Sayaka a little bit. She was okay. Her whole, I understand the purpose she served. Her whole purpose was to show Makoto to stop being naive. That was her purpose. And she was basically the tutorial for learning the game, kind of. So yeah. Um, who else? Taka, you going bad? You didn't. I actually no, you going good. I actually liked your whole moral compass gimmick, and then you went bonkers after, uh, like went hella bonkers after Mondo was exposed as the killer because I mean that he's the moral compass. He don't believe in killing, and that made him ripe for the bigness and Celeste and all his stuff. Thought that was pretty cool. I wish he didn't die though, so we could have seen who would come from like that weird angle where he went bonkers. Um, Yasuhiro, you're mad. You literally didn't do anything. He would just spew out random nonsense throughout the trials. He was sometimes kind of funny, so he's okay. Um, everyone else too deserves to get to talk about them. All right, so Byakuya, you're going slightly less than Maki. You're going awesome tier. This dude had one of the best arcs in the game. He starts off as this narcissistic, pompous douchebag, and it turns great because the first trial he's just a douchebag. The second trial he sets up this facade to paint Genocide Jill as the murderer, then exposes Genocide Jill's identity, then frames Genocide Jill for actually killing. Now, you don't get worse than that. But initially I didn't like it, but looking back, I'm just like, damn, this guy literally has no type of filter. This man's a legend. So yeah, then the third trial, he got salty because Makoto figured out that no, not the third trial, the fourth trial, he figured out that Sakura committed suicide, and Kyoko was rubbing it in his face that he couldn't figure out the murder. And then after that, he said, "I swear to God, I will kill you. If it's the last thing I do, I will kill you," and all that type of stuff. And then at the very end, he somewhat drops his pompousness and joins forces with everyone to defeat the mastermind, aka Junko. And I thought that was good. He slowly became more of a likable guy. And then at the very end, he and an asshole like Wade was like, "If you ever need me, call me, but that don't mean I'm gonna answer though." And I thought that was just fitting of him. Alrighty, Fuyuhiko. Alright, the homie Fuyuhiko goes awesome tier. He Now this dude's an excellent character. He's kind of like Byakuya, but like actually I think he's better than Byakuya. He's basically better Byakuya because he acts the same as Byakuya, talking about it's a game. I'll sacrifice you all. I won't hesitate to kill when it's my time to kill and all that type of stuff. But Hajime is calling him out as BS. He's like, nah, bro, you're not like that. But during his Peko stuff, that's dude, literally it destroyed me. I was so sad for him, bro. It was like he had been in love with Peko forever, right? And he kept telling Peko, I don't want a sword, I don't want a shield, I don't want a tool, I just want you. And then bawled his eyes out. Then, um, during her execution, got involved trying to save her, but it ended up actually like fucking killing her, right? So that kind of sucked. Then After that, he's just such a nicer person, but he still curses a lot though. But he was such a nicer person. But the one thing, this goes back to Hiyoko, the worst character. When he recovered from his injuries, Hiyoko made him feel worse about it, and then he slit his chest or something like that. But that's besides the point. Fuyuhiko, excellent tier. Smoogie, bad. She literally didn't do anything until the last trial, and then that ending was kind of stupid. I don't really have much to say on it. Talking about Danganronpa is fiction. There's been 50 killing games and all that stuff. Kind of stupid. Can't lie. So, not really feeling it. Alright, next, we got Kaede. Rip. Rip Kaede. You go in. I can't put her in godly tier. She didn't live long enough, but I want to. I'll put her at the top possible, dude. Dude, I love Kaede, man. First off, had the potential to pass had the potential to pass Chiaki as the best wife in the whole series, but she died too early. Um, the reason I love her, dude, is because during that trial, I was not expecting her to be the killer. They lined her up to be the protagonist, and then hoodwinked us and switched us to Suichi, but we'll get to him later. They literally showed us her setting up the kills. They literally showed it, but nobody. I didn't see it coming. Robo didn't see it coming. Nobody saw it coming. I was hoodwinked, fooled, and quite possibly bamboozled, and I had already gotten attached. And throughout that trial, everyone was pressing Suichi because he was being quiet, but Suichi had already knew that Kaede was the true killer. But the another thing is that the first kill would have been free because she killed Rantaro thinking that he was the mastermind. But it turns out that he wasn't. So instead of capitalizing on that free kill, she sacrificed herself. And that is commendable. Love you, Kaede. Miss you, Rip. Alright, here comes best boy Kibo. Kibo, Kibo goes in godly tier. He goes in godly tier. I can't even, dude. For like the first, I want to say 3 chapters, he's just good. He's just mostly kind of there. But after that, he starts picking up. Mostly in chapter 4, no, chapter 4 and 5. He becomes much more useful in trials because he uses his powers to print pictures of stuff that he had seen and stuff, right? And then mostly in chapter 6 is where he put himself in the godly tier. Is when he himself decided he was going to take out and end the killing game and he became all powered up, shooting stuff in like this cool scenes where you could call Kibo to save you during certain times and all that stuff. And then during the trial, it does another pro tag switch because Kibo becomes the ultimate hope. I kind of got Makoto vibes from him though. I really did. But he becomes the ultimate hope. So we pro tag switch to him and we realize he's the voice of the people because he does what the people want and all that stuff. And then it hoodwinks us into thinking, okay, so we need to agree with him and go with hope. But it's not the case. We have to actually choose despair. And I just love Kibo, dude. Everything he did in that last chapter just put him into godly tier. Love him. Love him, love him, love him. Alright. My voice or my throat is really starting to hurt, so I'm finna speedrun. Sonya, she's good. She's just actually not. She's mad. She don't really do much, to be honest. Suichi, great. I think he's a great pro tag. He has the most personality out of all the pro tags, and he's not like an empty slate the insert character here. Um, but Chihiro also goes in great because I love the character arc or the backstory of how she was bullied for being weak, so she turned into a girl and she actually had the motivation to get better. I thought that was really good and really powerful and a good message to send to everyone watching and all that stuff. So yeah, Kaito, um, he goes into godly too. Kaito's legend, legend. He single-handedly made Maki into a good person, and him and Maki, they basically are like opposite sides of the same coin. You know, can't have one without the other. He's really good, and I love the trial where we all thought it was him because it was his closing the thing, but he actually tried to create a scenario in which the body couldn't be identified, and even Monokuma couldn't know who the killer is. Thought that was a brilliant twist, and his motivation behind that too, and how he had the will to continue even though he was dying the whole game. Thought that was cool. Okay, I'm sorry, Okami, if you're watching this. I lied to you the whole time. He goes into God tier two. I told Okami the whole time I thought he was the worst boy, but secretly I liked him a lot. He was an excellent antagonist. Um, I don't have much voice left, so I can't really go into detail, but he was an excellent antagonist. Slightly worse than Agito, but he was great. Hajime, probably he's definitely the best protag. He always has some sarcastic remarks. He doesn't have the most personality, but I like that he's the ultimate or remnant of despair and all that stuff. I just think he's really cool and more relatable than the other two. He doesn't blindly believe in everyone like Suichi and um, Makoto. He's more down to earth, and I like that more. Junko Godly. I don't even need to say why. It's Junko. It's Junko Enoshima, the ultimate despair. Actual god. Like, actual god. And then we have Mew. Alright. When I have more voice, I might go into more detail later in a different video, but Mew is really good. I'll get into it later, but I don't have much voice left. So, here we go, boys. That's my tier list. Hope y'all enjoy. There we go. Make sure to like, subscribe.